Hey everyone, and thank you for checking out my video. My name is David Cardosa, and I'm a professional DJ. I run multiple companies, one of them being Choice DJ for DJ services, specifically for weddings and entertainment. As you can see from my logo behind me, I'm currently in my home office, working from home, as I'm sure most people are at the moment. But wanted to make this video so that you guys could hear more about the idea that I've had for quite a few years now, and slowly but surely putting the picture together while still keeping my business going in a big way. And it's actually been something that I first got inspired by when I went on honeymoon with my wife. We actually got married out in Bali, and when we were there, we met an amazing guy by the name of Eric Sabat, and he's got two different lodges, Les Sabat Bali. It's called. If you want to have a look, if you ever go to Bali, it's definitely worth checking up. He's an amazing guy, and he's got such a great outlook on life. And what he created out there is kind of like the dream, where he wakes up and he plays the ukulele, goes for a surf, does an amazing surfing lessons. And for somebody who's been struggling with surfing all my life, being from South Africa, being from Durban, and from the South Coast, I've done a bit of surfing in my time, and I always struggled. But in one lesson, he was able to get me right, and I started surfing some pretty epic waves in Padang Padang, pretty much, which is, if you know your surfing areas, that's a pretty epic coastline. But anyway, so what he had created there was this amazing lodge where people can come in and explore at a nice, decent price, but he's done it in an eco way, and that's something that I've always was always drawn towards. And health and fitness runs in my family pretty deep. My mom, she's a aromatherapist, a reflexologist, a hot stone masseuse. She helps people with serious illnesses, but her slogan is, "We aim to build health, not fight disease," which I think is and which the older I get, the more I realize I'm actually more inclined to that and more spiritual than I actually realized at first. So this idea started formulating, the wife and I, and my wife Jade. She's also into the health and fitness. No, we wouldn't label ourselves as vegan because we don't do that. We don't really put labels on ourselves in that way, you know. But we do have, we are very, conscious about what we put into our bodies, and as a result, we've got some. We've been doing this for such a long time, and we love the food that we eat, and we experiment. We've made some amazing dishes, and to the point of wanting to actually, mass produce it in some way, or utilize what we've learned through the years and through multiple years of me doing martial arts in various forms. Key things to help people better their lives and get better energies. And the more time has gone on, the more I've been gravitated towards trying to make this happen. And the plan was to actually get that up and running for 2020 into 2021. But unfortunately, we were all hit with the C word, so nothing really happened. And I put it on the back burner. But what I always try and do is always try and, keep abreast as to where the finances are sitting, what effect I can change on benefiting this project during this time, and just keep looking out and just making sure that I'm aware of what the situation is like over in Portugal, and legal things like that, so on and so forth. And fortunately as well, I'm from South Africa, but both of my parents are Portuguese, and I actually spent a lot of time in Portugal growing up. I've got a Portuguese passport, I've got a Portuguese ID, I've got a bank account as well. So we've over the years we've gone over to Portugal over the last few years. We've gone and looked at various locations. We've gone up north. We've gone down south to a beautiful little village called Ulião. Looked around there. We also went to the Villa Real. I can't remember the rest of it. It's the border between Portugal and Spain down at the bottom. Beautiful place, and I mean it was October, and like I was walking with a vest on. It was awesome. So we also been to Lisbon and then gone up more north, and we wanted to see what the coldest part would be and what the most bearable part would be. And we went towards Castelo Branco, which is quite central Portugal. And again, that's more towards the border of Spain, but it's still very green. You've got rolling hills, and I just fell in love with the whole, really the whole of Portugal, and should make sense because it's in my blood. And when I saw these places, and then I started looking at the kind of prices that it would be to buy land, then speaking to my father and speaking to my family around me, and just looking at what it would take in terms of costings and so on and so forth. I mean, growing up, I spent a lot of time with my father, and he is a fabricator and works a lot with steel. And on the holidays, if I wanted to spend time with my dad, it would be going to work with him or sitting at home and seeing him at 7 o'clock at night. So I'd opt to work with him, and I got to work with some awesome heavy machinery at like the age of like 15, 16, like messing around with arc welders and O2 welders and, massive chainsaws and, just loads of equipment. So I'm feel very comfortable with working with my hands and doing all manner of building. So I've been looking at these various sites and seeing what kind of costs it's going to be for buying land in various locations. And also, like I said, from South Africa, I'm also very conscious about surfing, and I'd love to get close enough to the coast to surf. So one of the places I was looking at was Nazaré, which is obviously where the biggest wave ever surfed was captured, and has now become quite an international hotspot for that. And there are some amazing deals for some epic land there, but obviously the Portuguese do have quite tight restrictions on how the land is used and how you work with the land, which is why things with ecolodges, they work so well in these places, because the low impact on the land and keeping it as green as possible. And there's also, they're trying to get rid of the trees that aren't indigenous to Portugal. So they've got planting programs that you can get into to make more like forests, what it used to be like in say olden times Portugal, which is something that I'm very keen on doing, specifically for making a healthy forest, so for forest walks and so on and so forth. So this is an idea that's been percolating for quite a long time. I say an idea; it's gone past. It's a full on project, and it's been a little bit gut wrenching to say the least, with watching a few of my finances starting to deplete, especially in the savings that I was saving for this project. And that's actually why I came then to the idea of maybe going to crowdfunding, because I have a wealth of experience with hosting events. I mean, on average, the weddings I do are between 200 and 400 people. And I thought, and I'm handling everything from the sound, the lighting, the equipment, the setup, all of those kind of fundamentals. And I've also worked on festivals where we're working up to licensed up to 5,000 people, and being integral in handling the infrastructure, the setup, the health and safety requirements, into the security, into the lighting and power and sanitation and all those kind of things. So looking at purchasing the land and then saying, okay, well, realistically, for me to get what I want up and running, I would need, a minimum of 35,000 pounds to make that happen. Looking at this incredible piece of land that I found, because it's only going to take about £20,000 of money to get the land usable in a usable state. Because I've already got everything else. I've got everything to be able to create a glamping village. So it's just working the land to put the glamping village down, to buy some of the trimmings inside the glamping village, and then get some lighting and sanitation in the area. Most of this it can all be done within the budget because I'm not working alone and I'm working with other people that are keen to get involved on this project. But it means that I can get this project off the ground for, you know, in realistic terms, very little money. And how I worked it out is this is nearly 2 hectares of land. So I could throw a party of for 350 to 500 people on my land once I've bought the land and once I've created it and I've sorted out all the infrastructure, those kind of things. I can have a party uh, on the site and have everyone come out who has supported, and there are various options that you can support and various levels that you can choose from. The first thing that I thought was if 350 people gave me £100, I would be able to buy the land now, and then by summer we could have a party on the land, and that's private land, and all of those people that have bought the ticket means that they are automatically invited to a private event that I'm hosting on the land. So it's pretty awesome. It's a great idea. I think there's not enough people making use of land, and there's not enough opportunity for people that just want to have a good time and be in the outdoors. It's not about massive loud blaring music. It's about connecting with people around you. It's about being able to enjoy the scenery and enjoy the beauty of nature. And Portugal is so beautiful. And a little bit of history for you. If you look at the Portuguese flag, you'll see that there's a large portion of red and a small portion of green on the side. Now, the reason that is because that symbolizes the amount of bloodshed that has happened throughout the years to keep that area of green. And yeah, I just found that really interesting. My father told me that many years ago, and it makes sense having spent so much time in there because it is so beautiful. And yeah, the Portuguese people are an amazing people as well. So I hope you may be interested to look more into what my proposal is, and as I said, there's various levels of what you can do to get yourself involved. And if you do want to reach out, don't be afraid. My information is on the site and is on the information. If you're watching this via YouTube, then you can literally click on the link below, and then you can get yourself involved with this crowdfunding project. And hopefully I'll hear from you guys very soon. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and bye now.